What if I told you that the difference between people who succeed and people who struggle isn't talent, luck, or intelligence, but 7 specific habits? Today, I'm breaking down one of the most influential self-help books ever written, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. By the end of this video, you'll understand every principle in this book so thoroughly you won't need to read it. Let's dive in. Published in 1989, this book has sold over 40 million copies worldwide and changed millions of lives. Stephen Covey wasn't just sharing tips, he was presenting a complete paradigm shift in how we think about personal and professional effectiveness. But here's what most people miss. These aren't just 7 random tips. They build on each other in a specific sequence, taking you from dependence to independence to interdependence. So let's start from the beginning. Before we get to the habits themselves, we need to understand Covey's core concept, paradigms. A paradigm is simply the lens through which you see the world. It's your mental map of reality. Here's the key insight. The way you see the problem is the problem. Most people try to change their behavior without changing their paradigm, and it never works long-term. It's like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Covey introduces 2 contrasting approaches. The personality ethic. This is what most self-help focuses on. Quick fixes, techniques, positive thinking, and manipulation tactics. It's superficial and doesn't last. The character ethic is about developing fundamental traits like integrity, humility, courage, and justice. It's deep, sustainable change from the inside out. The 7 habits are all about the character ethic. They're about becoming a fundamentally different person, not just acting differently. Keep this in mind as we go through each habit. Now, these 7 habits are organized into 3 categories. Habits 1 through 3, private victory, dependence to independence. Habits 4 through 6, public victory, independence to interdependence. Habit 7, renewal, sustaining everything. You must master private victory before public victory. You can't be successful with others if you can't manage yourself. Let's start with habit 1. Habit 1 is the foundation of everything else. Be proactive. Most people are reactive. Their lives are determined by their conditions, their feelings, or other people. When something bad happens, they blame circumstances. When they feel upset, they say, "You made me angry." They're not in control, their environment is. Proactive people recognize that between stimulus and response, there's a space, and in that space lies our freedom to choose our response. This is the key to personal freedom and effectiveness. Here's how it works. Covey introduces the circle of concern and the circle of influence. Your circle of concern includes everything you care about: the weather, the economy, other people's opinions, past mistakes, future uncertainties. Most people waste their energy here, worrying about things they can't control. Your circle of influence is smaller. It's the things you can actually do something about: your choices, your attitude, your responses, your work, your relationships. Reactive people focus on their circle of concern. They complain about things they can't change. And here's what happens. Their circle of influence actually shrinks because they're not using it. Proactive people focus on their circle of influence. They work on things they can control. And their circle of influence grows because they're building capability and demonstrating effectiveness. The language you use reveals your mindset. Reactive is, "There's nothing I can do. That's just the way I am. They make me so angry. I have to do this." Proactive is, "Let's look at alternatives. I can choose a different approach. I control my own feelings. I choose to do this." Practical application. For 30 days, work only on things within your circle of influence. When you catch yourself complaining or blaming, stop and ask, what can I actually do about this? Focus your time and energy there. This habit is about taking responsibility, not in the sense of blame, but in the sense of responsibility, your ability to choose your response. This is the foundation of personal power. Habit 2 is begin with the end in mind. Imagine you're at a funeral. You walk in, see the casket, hear soft music. You look at the program and realize this is your funeral. What do you want people to say about you? What do you want them to remember? What kind of person do you want to have been? This isn't morbid, it's clarifying. Most people are so busy climbing the ladder of success that they never stop to ask if it's leaning against the right wall. They achieve their goals only to realize they accomplished things that don't really matter. The core principle, all things are created twice, first mentally, then physically. Think about building a house. You don't just start hammering, you create blueprints first. The mental creation, the design, comes before the physical creation, the building. The same is true for your life. If you don't consciously create your own mental design, you'll live by other people's designs, society's expectations, your parents' wishes, your circumstances. The personal mission statement. Covey's solution is creating a personal mission statement. This is your personal constitution, the unchanging principles and values by which you'll live your life. It should answer, what do I want to be? Character. What do I want to do? Contributions and achievements. What are the values or principles upon which these are based? Here's the key. This isn't about specific goals like make $1 million or lose 20 pounds. Those are too specific and temporary. Your mission statement is about the kind of person you want to become and what you stand for. Example elements of a mission statement. Never compromise my integrity for short-term gain. Be a source of wisdom and stability for my family. Use my talents to serve others and make a meaningful contribution. Continuously learn and grow throughout my life. Why this matters. When you have a clear mission, decisions become easier. Should you take that job? Does it align with your mission? Should you spend time on this activity? Does it support your mission? Your mission becomes your personal GPS. For organizations and families too. This doesn't just apply to individuals. Covey recommends creating family mission statements and organizational mission statements through collaborative discussion. When everyone is aligned on shared values and vision, cooperation becomes natural. Action step. Take time this week, maybe a few hours in a quiet place, to draft your personal mission statement. Don't rush it. This is one of the most important things you'll ever write. Review and refine it regularly. Let it guide every major decision you make. Now we get to habit 3. Put first things first. If habit 1 says you're the creator, and habit 2 says here's your first creation, your mission, then habit 3 is about the second creation, actually living your mission every day. This is about time management, but not like you've heard before. Covey introduces the time management matrix, and this will completely change how you think about productivity. The time management matrix has 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, urgent and important. Crises, pressing problems, deadline-driven projects. Examples, medical emergency, major client deadline, car breakdown. Quadrant 2, not urgent but important. Prevention, planning, relationship building, personal development. Examples, exercise, strategic planning, learning new skills, quality time with family. Quadrant 3, urgent but not important. Interruptions, some emails and calls, some meetings. Examples, most phone calls, many emails, other people's minor issues. Quadrant 4, not urgent and not important. Trivia, time wasters, busy work. Examples, mindless social media scrolling, excessive TV, gossip. Here's the revelation. Most people spend their time in quadrants 1 and 3, dealing with urgent things. They live in crisis mode, firefighting all day. When they finally get exhausted, they escape to quadrant 4 to zone out. Effective people live in quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 is where all the magic happens. This is where you build relationships before you need them, maintain your health so you don't have medical crises, plan strategically so you're not always in deadline panic, develop skills that make you more capable, work on prevention instead of crisis management. The problem? Quadrant 2 activities are never urgent. They don't scream at you, they whisper. No one is calling you, demanding that you exercise or spend quality time with your kids or work on your personal development. But these are the activities that determine your long-term effectiveness and quality of life. How to live in Quadrant 2? Say no to Quadrant 3 and 4. Just because something is urgent doesn't mean it's important. Learn to politely decline interruptions that don't align with your mission. Weekly planning, not just daily. Take 30 minutes every weekend to plan your week. Look at your roles, parent, professional, friend, personal development, and schedule specific Quadrant 2 activities for each role. Schedule your priorities. Don't prioritize your schedule. Block time for your important activities first. Don't just fit them in around urgent things. The big rocks analogy. If you have a jar, some big rocks, pebbles, and sand, you can't fit everything unless you put the big rocks in first. Your big rocks are your Quadrant 2 priorities. Schedule them first, and the urgent small stuff, pebbles and sand, will fit around them. Delegation. Covey also discusses 2 types of delegation. Gopher delegation. Go for this, go for that. Micromanagement, inefficient and disempowering. Stewardship delegation. You clearly communicate the desired results, guidelines, resources, accountability, and consequences. Then get out of the way. This develops people and multiplies your effectiveness. This habit completes your private victory. You've become someone who takes responsibility. Habit 1, knows what matters. Habit 2, and actually does what matters. Habit 3, you're independent and self-disciplined. Now you're ready for the public victory, learning to work effectively with others. Before we jump into habits 4, 5, and 6, we need to understand a crucial paradigm shift. Many people think independence is the ultimate goal. I don't need anyone. I can do it myself. That's immature. True maturity is interdependence, recognizing that we can accomplish far more together than we ever could alone. The most productive people aren't lone wolves, they're master collaborators. But here's the catch. You can't achieve interdependence if you haven't first achieved independence. If you're dependent, if you can't manage yourself, if you don't know what you want, if you can't execute, you'll just bring that dysfunction into your relationships. That's why habits 1 through 3 came first. You needed to master yourself before you can effectively work with others. Now, the next 3 habits are about what Covey calls the emotional bank account, the trust you build in relationships, and how to create win-win solutions with others. These habits transform good relationships into great ones and turn conflicts into creative cooperation. Let's begin with habit 4. Habit 4 is think win-win. Most people approach life with a scarcity mentality. They think there's only so much pie to go around, so if you get a big piece, there's less for me. This creates a competitive zero-sum mindset where your success is my failure. Covey presents 6 paradigms of human interaction. 1. Win-lose. I win, you lose. This is authoritarian, competitive. It might work short-term but destroys relationships. 2. Lose-win. I lose, you win. This is the doormat mentality. People-pleasing. You think you're being nice, but you're building resentment. 3. Lose-lose. Both lose. This is what happens when two win-lose people interact. They become so focused on hurting each other that both end up worse off. Think of bitter divorces or business feuds. 4. Win. I win, and I don't care what happens to you. This is selfish individualism, not thinking about others at all. 5. Win-win or no deal. We find a solution that benefits both of us, or we don't do business together. This requires courage and consideration. 6. Win-win. We find a solution that's beneficial for both of us. Win-win is the only sustainable approach for ongoing relationships. It requires both courage to advocate for yourself and consideration to advocate for the other person. Not compromise. Compromise is often just lose-lose, where both people give up what they want. Win-win is creative cooperation, where both people get what they truly need. The 5 dimensions of win-win: character, integrity, matching your words and actions; maturity, expressing your feelings while being considerate of others; and abundance mentality, believing there's enough for everyone. Relationships: you build the emotional bank account through kindness, keeping commitments, clarifying expectations, showing integrity, and apologizing when you make withdrawals. Agreements: clear mutual understanding of desired results, guidelines, resources, accountability, and consequences. Systems: your systems must support win-win. If you preach cooperation, but your reward system creates competition, win-win won't happen. And processes: the method for reaching win-win solutions, which brings us to habit 5. Real-world example. Instead of "I need this report by Friday," win-lose demand, try "I need this data for a Monday presentation. What would make this feasible for you while meeting the deadline?" Win-win exploration. The other person might suggest, "I can get you the key metrics by Friday and the detailed analysis by Tuesday. Would the metrics be enough for your Monday presentation?" Suddenly, you've found a solution that works for everyone. When win-win isn't possible. Sometimes, after genuine effort, win-win isn't achievable. That's when you invoke no deal. You agree that this particular arrangement won't work for both parties. This preserves the relationship and leaves the door open for future opportunities. This takes courage. It means walking away from deals that would benefit you but harm others. But it's the only way to build lasting, trust-based relationships. Habit 5 is probably the most immediately applicable. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Most people don't listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. While the other person is talking, they're preparing their response, filtering everything through their own autobiography, just waiting for their turn to speak. Covey identifies 4 levels of listening. 1. Ignoring, not listening at all. 2. Pretending, yeah, right. 3. Selective listening, hearing only the parts you want to hear. 4. Attentive listening, paying attention and focusing energy on the words. 5. Empathic listening, listening with the intent to understand emotionally and intellectually. Most people operate at levels 1 through 4. Effective people practice level 5, empathic listening. What empathic listening is not. It's not agreeing, it's not advising, it's not probing with questions from your frame of reference, it's not interpreting based on your own experience. What empathic listening is, it's getting inside the other person's frame of reference. It's seeing the world as they see it. It's understanding how they feel. It's achieving psychological air, understanding them so well they feel deeply heard. The 4 autobiographical responses to avoid. When someone shares a problem, most people respond in these unhelpful ways. 1. Evaluate, agree or disagree. You're wrong about that. 2. Probe, ask questions from your frame of reference. Why did you do that? 3. Advise, give counsel based on your own experience. What you should do is. 4. Interpret, try to figure them out based on your own motives. What you really mean is. All of these come from your frame of reference, not theirs. They shut down real communication. Empathic listening techniques. Mimic content. Repeat what they said. This is basic, but better than nothing. Them. I'm frustrated with this project. You're frustrated with the project. Rephrase content. Put what they said in your own words. You're not happy with how the project is going. Reflect feeling. Pay attention to emotion, not just words. You sound really frustrated. Rephrase content and reflect feeling, the highest form. You're really frustrated because the project isn't meeting your expectations. Why this is powerful. When people feel truly understood, they drop their defenses, they open up, they move from position, what they're demanding, to interest, what they really need. Suddenly, solutions become possible that weren't visible before. Then seek to be understood. Once you've understood them deeply, you've earned the right to be understood. Now they'll actually listen to you because you've made a massive deposit in their emotional bank account. This is where you present your ideas, but you do it using ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos, your personal credibility, built through empathic listening. Pathos, emotional alignment. You've shown you understand their feelings. Logos, the logic of your presentation. Now they're actually ready to hear it. Most people skip straight to logos, presenting logical arguments without establishing ethos and pathos first. That's why they're not persuasive. Real-world example. Your teenager wants to borrow the car. Poor response, no, you're not responsible enough. Empathic response, I really want to have the freedom to go out with your friends, and you feel like I don't trust you. That must be frustrating. Now they feel heard. The conversation can move from conflict to problem solving. What would demonstrate responsibility? How can we build trust? What's a compromise that addresses both of our concerns? Remember, seek first to understand, then to be understood. The order matters. Habit 6 is synergize. Synergy means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. 1 + 1 = 3 or more. It's creative cooperation where working together produces results that neither person could have achieved alone. But here's what most people miss. Synergy isn't just compromise or cooperation. It's not you give a little, I give a little, and we meet in the middle. That's usually just a low-level solution where both people are slightly dissatisfied. True synergy happens when you value differences. Most people see differences as obstacles. Someone thinks differently than you, and you see it as a problem to overcome. You either try to change them, win-lose, or give in to them, lose-win. Effective people see differences as opportunities. When someone sees things differently, they think, good, you see things I don't see. Together, we'll see more than either of us could alone. How synergy works. It requires everything we've learned so far. Proactivity, habit 1, choose to value differences rather than fear them. Begin with the end in mind. Habit 2, envision a solution better than what either person proposed. Put first things first. Habit 3, prioritize the time needed for creative collaboration. Win-win. Habit 4, commit to finding a solution that's truly better for everyone. Seek first to understand. Habit 5, deeply understand the other person's perspective. When you have all these elements, magic happens. You get third alternative solutions, options that neither person thought of initially, but that emerge from genuine creative cooperation. Example: 2 people are in an office. One wants the window open for fresh air, the other wants it closed because of the draft. Compromise: open it halfway. Both are somewhat dissatisfied. Synergy, they explore why each person wants what they want. One needs fresh air for focus, the other is cold. Third alternative, open a window in the next room to circulate air throughout the space, and the cold person wears a sweater. Or adjust the HVAC system, or work in different rooms. Suddenly, there are solutions neither person considered. Creating a synergistic culture. In families, hold family meetings where everyone's input is valued. Create family mission statements together. Make decisions collaboratively. In organizations, create environments where psychological safety allows people to share different perspectives without fear. Reward creative cooperation, not just individual achievement. The Buddhist concept. Covey references Buddhism. The middle way isn't a compromise between extremes, it's a higher middle way, like the apex of a triangle, a solution that transcends the original alternatives. Warning: synergy requires vulnerability. You have to be willing to say, "I don't have all the answers," and genuinely explore new territory. This can feel risky, but when you've built trust through habits 4 and 5, this vulnerability becomes possible. The result? When you truly synergize, you don't just solve problems, you create better solutions than you imagined possible. You build unity without uniformity. You leverage differences to create strength. This is the essence of effective interdependence. Finally, we arrive at habit 7. Sharpen the saw. Covey tells a story. Imagine you come across someone frantically sawing a tree. You ask, "What are you doing?" They respond, "Sawing down this tree, can't you see?" You notice the saw is dull and suggest, "Why don't you take a break and sharpen your saw? It would go much faster." They reply, "I don't have time to sharpen the saw. I'm too busy sawing." This is how most people live. They're so busy producing, they never maintain and develop their production capability. Eventually, they burn out. Habit 7 is about renewal, preserving and enhancing your greatest asset, yourself. It's the habit that makes all the other habits possible. Covey identifies 4 dimensions of renewal. 1. Physical dimension. This is caring for your body through exercise, endurance, flexibility, and strength, nutrition, eating properly, stress management, rest and relaxation. This is Quadrant 2. It's never urgent but critically important. Most people only focus on physical health when they have a crisis, Quadrant 1. Effective people exercise regularly, eat well, and rest adequately, preventing the crisis. Even 30 minutes a day of exercise produces enormous benefits: better energy, clearer thinking, improved mood, and reduced health risks. Physical dimension. This is your core, your center, your commitment to your value system. It involves meditation, prayer or contemplation, connecting with nature, reading inspirational literature, reflecting on your mission statement, engaging with art, music, or philosophy. This dimension provides leadership to your life. It connects you to what matters most and gives you perspective beyond the urgent demands of daily life. Many people neglect this because it doesn't produce immediate, tangible results, but it's the source of your strength, motivation, and direction. Mental dimension. This is continuing education and mental development, reading broadly and deeply, writing, journals, letters, articles, planning and organizing, learning new skills, engaging in meaningful conversation. Most people stop learning after formal education. Their minds atrophy. Effective people are continuous learners. Reading is especially powerful. Covey suggests reading at least 1 book a month in your field and broader literature for perspective. This keeps your mind sharp and your knowledge current. Social-emotional dimension. This involves your relationships and emotional security. Building and maintaining relationships, emotional bank account, making deposits through kindness, integrity, and understanding, practicing habits 4, 5, and 6 in your daily interactions, developing intrinsic security independent of others' opinions. This dimension is tied to habits 4, 5, and 6. You renew yourself socially by practicing win-win, empathic listening, and synergy in your relationships. The upward spiral. Renewal in these 4 dimensions creates an upward spiral of growth. As you sharpen the saw, you learn mental, apply, physical, commit, spiritual, connect, social or emotional. Each dimension reinforces the others. You increase your capacity in all areas. You move from effectiveness to greater effectiveness. Balance is key. You can't neglect any dimension. Someone might be physically fit but spiritually empty, or mentally sharp but socially isolated, or emotionally connected but physically deteriorating. Renewal must be balanced across all 4 dimensions for true effectiveness. It's Quadrant 2. Sharpening the saw is never urgent. No one is demanding you exercise, read, or meditate, but it's critically important. It's the Quadrant 2 activity that enables all other activities. Time investment. Covey recommends at least 1 hour per day dedicated to renewal across these dimensions. 30 minutes of physical exercise, 15 minutes of spiritual renewal, 15 minutes of mental education, ongoing social-emotional practice throughout the day. 1 hour a day to sharpen your saw. This isn't selfish, it's essential. You can't give what you don't have. You can't be effective with others if you've neglected yourself. This completes the 7 habits. Habit 7 makes all the others sustainable. Without renewal, you'll eventually burn out no matter how effective your habits are. With renewal, you create continuous improvement and growth. Before we wrap up, it's crucial to understand that these 7 habits aren't separate techniques, they're an integrated system. Habits 1 through 3 develop you as an individual, private victory, independence. Habits 4 through 6 develop you in relationships, public victory, interdependence. Habit 7 renews all dimensions and sustains the other 6 habits. They build on each other. You can't put first things first, 3, if you haven't begun with the end in mind, 2. You can't begin with the end in mind if you aren't proactive, 1. You can't think win-win, 4, if you're still dependent and haven't achieved private victory. You can't seek to understand, 5, if you're approaching relationships with a win-lose mentality. You can't synergize, 6, without first understanding and thinking win-win. And you can't sustain any of it without sharpening the saw, 7. This is a progressive framework for personal development. You don't master all 7 simultaneously. You start with habit 1 and build from there. Each habit you develop makes the next one possible. The promise: if you genuinely internalize and practice these habits, you will transform. From reactive to proactive, from unclear to purposeful, from distracted to focused, from competitive to collaborative, from defensive to understanding, from conflict to creative cooperation, from burnout to renewal. You'll become fundamentally more effective, not through tricks or tactics, but through character development. You'll change from the inside out. So how do you actually apply this? Here's my recommendation. Start with 1 habit at a time. Don't try to do everything at once. Weeks 1 through 4. Be proactive. Monitor your language. Catch yourself using reactive phrases. Identify 1 recurring problem in your life. Focus only on what you can control about it. Keep a journal of your circle of influence decisions. Weeks 5 through 8. Begin with the end in mind. Schedule time to draft your personal mission statement. For each major decision, ask, does this align with my mission? Visualize your funeral. What do you want people to say? Weeks 9 through 12. Put first things first. Create a time management matrix for your typical week. Block out time for Quadrant 2 activities before scheduling anything else. Practice weekly planning every Sunday. Learn to say no to Quadrant 3 and 4 activities. Weeks 13 through 16. Think win-win. In every negotiation or conflict, pause and ask, how can we both win? Make deposits in your key emotional bank accounts. Practice the abundance mentality. Assume there's enough for everyone. Weeks 17 through 20. Seek first to understand. In every important conversation, set a goal to understand before being understood. Practice empathic listening techniques. Resist the urge to give advice until you've fully understood. Weeks 21 through 24. Synergize. When you encounter a difference of opinion, get curious instead of defensive. Ask, what third alternative might we discover together? Invite others to collaborate on solutions. Weeks 25 through 52. Sharpen the saw. Design your daily renewal routine across all 4 dimensions. Track your renewal activities for accountability. Continuously refine and improve. The key is consistency over intensity. Small daily improvements compound into massive change over time. Don't try to be perfect, just commit to progress. Get an accountability partner. Share your journey with someone. Discuss the habits. Support each other. This makes a huge difference. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Character development takes time, but the investment is worth it because you're not just changing what you do, you're changing who you are. Let's bring this all together. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People isn't a book about productivity hacks or time management tips. It's a comprehensive framework for becoming a fundamentally more effective person through character development. The progression is clear. First, develop yourself. Habits 1 through 3. Take responsibility for your life. Be proactive. Know what matters. Begin with the end in mind. Do what matters. Put first things first. Second, develop your relationships. Habits 4 through 6. Create mutual benefit. Think win-win. Understand deeply. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Collaborate creatively. Synergize. Finally, sustain everything. Habit 7. Renew yourself continuously. This isn't easy. It requires courage, patience, and commitment, but it works. Millions of people have transformed their lives with these principles. The question is, are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to examine your paradigms, to take responsibility, to clarify your values, to change your habits, to invest in relationships, to continuously improve? If you are, these 7 habits will change everything. Start today. Pick one habit, take one action, make one change, then build from there. Your future self will thank you. If this video helped you understand the 7 habits, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more book breakdowns like this. Drop a comment below telling me which habit resonates most with you or which book you want me to cover next. And remember, the only person you can control is yourself, so start there. Be proactive. The rest will follow. Thanks for watching. Now, go sharpen your saw.